It's meant, all these ideas, it's meant to transform the way you're going to work. It has to. It's what it's meant for. It's going to help you produce. But I think in its essence, in everything we designed it around, is we wanted to transform the way you create and think about creating. It's kind of built, when you look at it, you can look at both of these, but you look and it's built to pull you in. And I'll explain that, but it is all fundamentally made to immerse you into the content or to the creation that you want to work with. And I think that's something to kind of understand as we walk through. If you can remember that, that'd be helpful. Start with the screen, though, because if you can see how thin it is here, this is a forged aluminum enclosure. The lines are seamless. When you have a chance in the showcase later, get as close to this product as you can. I want you to look at every subtlety here. There is a collection of so many details that you will not see, and they all come together so beautifully on the product. But start with the enclosure when you have a chance. Take a look at it. It's a fully embodied aluminum enclosure. It's housing the thinnest LCD that has ever been created at 1.3 millimeter that sits in this product at this size. You have to think here, we reinvented the backlight, the prism sheets, the color filters, the polarizers, the glass itself, all coming together. There's a ton of work that goes into this screen that I think you can kind of feel. You can kind of feel it. But if you take that 1.3 millimeters and you take that aluminum chassis, this is the thinnest 12.5, it's 12.5 millimeters. This is the thinnest desktop monitor ever created, and of course it has touch. Of course it has touch, but ever. Take a look at the front of this product. It's a 28-inch diagonal. That's 28 inches across. It pushes 13.5 million pixels. That's about 63% more than a 4K TV if you're doing the math. On this product, you want to be able to see everything at all times, no matter where you are. The only thing you won't be able to see on this screen specifically is a pixel. And the reason for that is the closer you get to it, we want to keep you there. If you ever walked up to a high-definition TV and got a little too close, you have, clearly. And it's kind of blurry. That's not good for you, by the way. Just get further back and get perspective. You've done that, and it just gets more beautiful, and you can find that perfect distance to your TV. This product, no matter where you are, the closer you get, I think the more refined it gets, the further you get, the more perspective and beautiful it gets, and it stays with you. That's critical. If we're going to keep you in that space, if we're going to keep you immersed in all your content and what you're trying to create, I think that's vital. I think that's vital. So now let's talk about the colors on this screen. Because when we talk about this idea where you can't see a pixel and you need to see all your content, you also need to be able to see life as it was meant to be. So we call this true color, and we designed the product for the depth of color within it. And it's kind of going to show you a few things as I walk through this. But the idea is we want to render the deepest reds possible. We want to bring you the truest blues possible. We want to bring you the most vibrant greens you can live with to just bring the real world as you know it. Okay, think if you're a movie director. If you're making your movie, if that's what you're doing, you want to make it as the world's meant to see it in real color, in real life. That's critical to you. Or, if you're the person watching what was intended from the director, you want to see that intent. It's like in real life, when you take a photo, don't you want to see the beauty of the photo when you get it? Don't your memories come back with that? All those senses are firing, and color being the deepest and richest one. So this product, with its 13.5 million pixels, with a bunch of color calibration that we do with Surface to bring it to life, we're able to get you the most depth you can possibly find in these colors. That then allows the creator to make exactly, or render the world, if you will, as he or she believes it needs to be rendered. Now, with the integration with Windows and the device, and you hear Terry talking about how those things come together and things light up, here's a subtlety for you. If I just click through here, you're going to very see some, I'm going to keep clicking, you're just going to see a difference in the screen, just slight subtle changes. Now what I'm doing is I'm moving from DCI P3, which I think many of you understand, it's cool, to sRGB on the fly. Why? If I'm going to create in those deep colors, but I'm not sure if my customer or who might be watching this movie has the ability to push this much pixel at somebody, or this much beauty, or this much depth. Keep in mind, there is no monitor in the planet like this one. There's 99% better color than the monitors on the planet. So there was this world where many are living in sRGB. So when you do create, This idea where I just have one flip, and as I'm creating and writing, and I'll show you that in a bit, you will find yourself saying, okay, here's the beauty of the colors, the depth of the colors, and then here's what it might look like if somebody was using sRGB. I think that's a pretty cool way to design. Okay. On top of the color, we call it true color. This idea of immersing you is important. This is a 3:2 aspect ratio. You can see that. You get the depth of color in it. Think of it as 4 14-inch displays stitched together, kind of bringing all the information you need right in front of you all at once. The idea that you can see more patterns, the idea that you can get more information all at once and stay in your product, that will lead you to draw better conclusions. That's real. When we say your ideas are your best work, it's critical that we keep you there. It's critical that you can see everything. I'm going to show you something subtle here, but sometimes, and we've talked about this, sometimes the most subtle things can have the deepest impact. Hey, Cortana, bring up the Surface Design doc.
Here's the document about Surface Studio Design.
Okay, so I'm going to just open this document and show it to you. This is Microsoft Word. You're probably familiar with it. I am going to just flip over one page to show you something. I'm holding an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. That seems, this isn't like a magic trick. I'm just holding a piece of paper. This paper looks eerily familiar to what's on the screen. The reason I'm showing you that is the device itself has 192 ppi. It is tuned perfectly with Windows to scale it to true life. So if we were going to bring you true color, what was the other physical pieces we can bring that triggered that innate sense where it felt so familiar? Well, at 8.5 by 11 and 12, check this out. That is the exact same product that you see on the screen there. That's a 1-for-1 match. Subtle, yes, but important. 1 inch on this screen is 1 inch in real life. What you see is really what you get. This whole idea of print preview is completely gone. As you get into this and you work in it, you stay in it. You stay in it because it's your real work. And then Word comes in, the Microsoft Office team, and they refine their product so much to bring Studio to life that you get these unbelievable feelings. Look how clear it is as I flip through here. Isn't that cool? It's just got this smooth scroll. If I wanted more information, I pinch it, and I can see so many documents all at one time. Whether I'm reading a book, whether I'm working through this Surface spec, or I just wanted to get to a certain section and just absorb it, I think it's critical. Now, we talk about immersing you in this product quite a bit. And so the best way to kind of deal and think about that, as I'm going to show you, is to think about the screen first. And we talked about the depth of the screen. We talked about how big the screen is. But really, if you're going to design around a screen, and the team called it designing a floating sheet of pixels, we want you to see this product for the pixels you're working on, for the screen, for the experiences that the software is bringing to you. What that means is the hardware has to disappear into the background. It has to fade away. But how? I remember with the team how we would sit and talk every single night where we had to make the product acoustically very quiet, keep somebody in. But we also knew it had to be visually very, very quiet. And so how do you do that? Take a look at these chrome arms. When you can see them, this is important. These chrome arms were meant to completely fade into the background. Now, you'll see light hitting them now, and they look beautiful, and we're proud of that, and the design team did an incredible job bringing that to life. But what they really do is they're meant to reflect the entire environment. Why? Because when I'm in front of it, when I'm gaining perspective, or when I'm up next to it and I'm drawn into what I'm doing, that's all I should see. The rest should fade to background. Everything else should be absorbed behind me, which was critical. Now, it wasn't just the screen and the floating sheet of pixels. It was also about power and performance, and we know that. If you want a great product, we got to bring you all the pop you expect in a performant product like this. We spent tireless night taking the air out of this product, integrating a 270-watt power supply, an NVIDIA 980M GPU with a 12K on the 3D Mark, for those of you who know what it is, a Core i7 quad-core in the product, a 2-terabyte rapid hard drive, 32 gigabytes of memory, 3 interlinked fans with unprecedented cooling, unbelievable, an Xbox protocol for wireless controllers built into the product, and 2.1 surround sound speakers. It all fits perfectly in this perfect little tiny box with only one cable coming out the back of it. We then allow for what we call the 4 floating points of contact on the base of the product, that base you just saw. And that unkinkable cable that comes out the back is locked in. So when you want to move the device, can you see how effortless that is for me? If I want to do a show me scenario or show you scenario, I can move it any way I want and just kind of show you whatever you want, but those are those four floating points that are critical. Now, many times, we can read out specs. I can tell you how performant this machine is, and it is. It is. It has been phenomenal to use. No question. But performance, a lot of time, it's just more than specs. I can do a performance demo, and you've seen those. But it's more than specs. It is about keeping you in the moment. If we're going to have you creating, if you're going to be producing, if you want to stay uninterrupted, you have to find different ways to utilize the product. One of those should be voice or conversation. Built into the product itself, there is a linear mic array that sits on the product. So I can say from across the room what I need, whether it's locked up or not locked up. You can talk to this device. I think that's pretty cool because for me, I use Cortana all the time,